Hi, this is Marty Whitmore with the August 11th briefing. What we're looking at for the next several days are thunderstorms through Friday. And I say through Friday because if you're watching this Thursday evening, there's certainly some thunderstorm through Thursday evening. If you're watching this after Thursday, you can probably skip ahead a little bit later in the video here. Could get a little breezy on Saturday, not overly so, but we'll talk about that here in a bit. The dry RHs are going to return on Sunday and into Monday. It's just been abnormally moist out there because of the high dew points around, but I think we're going to see more normal RHs come over the weekend. And then we're staying hot, but it's back to another increased heat with some possible record temperatures again, middle part of the week. Here's the satellite imagery, the water vapor loop. It's good for looking at high pressure, low pressure systems. It's kind of interesting over western Montana here. You can see the moisture plume. That's what's caused these high dew points and relatively high minimum RHs that we've seen, and also some thunderstorm activity around, particularly to our west the last couple days. But we'll see some convection here, Thursday evening, and that pattern holds true for the most part Friday afternoon and evening as well. It starts to slide off after that as this low pressure system off the west coast moves into British Columbia. That'll push the threat of thunderstorms on Saturday probably just down a little bit in southwest Montana and the rest of Montana, but not much for our forecast area except down there in maybe Beaverhead, Madison counties. But as this feature moves through, we should see a little bit of increase in our westerly winds. If we do a loop here for Thursday afternoon convection, one of our high-res models is depicting a pretty good representation of what we're expecting through this evening. Again, if it's already Friday morning when you're watching this, go ahead and skip ahead to the next loop. But just about all of our forecast area has a threat at some thunderstorms. Kind of a mix of threats besides lightning, of course. These do have a pretty good moisture content. They're fast moving, so we're not really expecting flash flooding from these, but brief heavy rain is certainly a threat. And also there could be strong enough to produce some real gusty outflows. So that would be the concern. Here's another loop on Friday. Use a little bit different model to look out that far, but again, you can see some general thunderstorm threat throughout our forecast area, maybe focused over the Beaverhead Deer Lodge area down in there as they often get a little bit more thunderstorm activity. Didn't really have a great image to show the potential winds on Saturday. This is actually 700 millibar heights, which is on average about 10,000 feet above sea level, but not a bad surrogate for what could mix down in the afternoon, and it does show the area that we're probably more concerned about, northwest Montana, maybe the ridges in north central Idaho. It's hard to get that flow down into the canyons down in Idaho, but I think west central Montana, northwest Montana will see some noticeable increase in the southwest, even westerly at time flow on Saturday. This one doesn't show much for southwest Montana, but that's a wind-prone area for sure. So we probably could see some gustiness down there as well. I'm not anticipating any sort of red flag threat. Temperatures will be suppressed somewhat, and RHs still aren't that low, but just some winds to note on Saturday. And then, we return to the heat. We haven't really lost it much, but when that system slides by Saturday, probably not be quite as hot Saturday and Sunday, but we'll start to see the temperatures increase next week, and particularly Tuesday, Wednesday. Wouldn't be surprised to see some valleys, hitting 100 degrees, especially those lower valleys, typically over there in Riggins and Pittsburgh Landing, Slate Creek, places like that. Probably easy to see 100 degrees plus. But even over in Missoula, in some of those areas. We could be in the upper 90s for sure into next week. And not a lot of moisture, although it's a ridge pattern that's developing. You can see here some moisture probabilities down there in the Great Basin. That's kind of subtropical moisture that float around the ridge. Wouldn't be surprised if pieces of that move up into the Northern Rockies occasionally while we're under this ridge. So I'm not saying it's a really dry forecast, but most of the probability is going to be well south of us. Then here's just our threat matrix to kind of sum that up for the different areas. Again, our focus for Friday is, warm temperatures for sure, but thunderstorm threat around the area. Kind of went moderate in most places, except northwest Montana, maybe not quite as much a threat up there, but still could see thunderstorms. Focus that to wind on Saturday. Again, I don't know I don't think it's going to be red flag scenario, but we'll keep watching it. But a little breezy is the change in the weather on Saturday. Sunday and Monday, I don't think there's a lot of threat out there when it comes to fire, but I did want to note that that's when we'll start to see RHs more like we'd expect in August with these warm temperatures. So a lot of RHs down into the teens versus some of the abnormally moist RHs that we've seen under this subtropical moisture. And then on Tuesday, we'll combine that with the heat, escalating heat Tuesday on into Wednesday. So that concludes the briefing. Stay in touch. We'll look for another briefing on Sunday.